You're different, David. I can tell.
Oh, there he is. There he is, back in business. Hey, there he is.
Welcome to Shooting the Shit with the David Difference. I'm your host, the David Difference. Oh, what a difference a Dave makes. And today I had to break out the martinis because we got a very special guest, man. This man needs no introduction. However, I must pay homage. He's the greatest managerial mind in professional wrestling today. He's the head of the dynasty, Mandalay Sports Management. You've seen him on Tony and Tina's wedding, The Sopranos' Last Supper in Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the greatest manager in professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sal E.
David, good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. It's been a minute. So today we're just going to talk about, obviously, your pro wrestling career. One of the greatest managers, if not the, some will say, and according to your Instagram profile, the greatest manager in professional wrestling. Hey, it is what it is. But also we want to talk about your background in acting, your creativity, following your passions and things of that nature. So we're just going to shoot the shit, man. We got, like I said, I broke out the martinis for this one. I see you over there drinking, what is that, Kool-Aid?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Green Kool-Aid. That's the 25-year Glenlivet.
Okay, nice.
We're not screwing around today.
He's living it up over there, huh? Uncle Sam got you. I like it. All right, so just want to check in. Right now we're in the middle of the pandemic. Everything's shut down. Businesses, Las Vegas is definitely at a standstill. How are you holding up personally and professionally?
Well, I mean, I'm not, I'm not above it. It's hit me hard too. Both creatively, professionally, with sort of entertainment-wise, and of course with the the regular old job. It's hard. I work. I work on top of entertainment. I always work one or two jobs at a time, so that's been a little difficult. But God bless with Uncle Sam. It's really came through. I feel blessed that I caught it at the right time and had I didn't have to go through all these channels that everyone, and I feel terrible. I got friends that are still struggling because they can't get through. It's disgusting, but I've gotten through it. And I started to I've really had a lot of time to figure out a lot of stuff creatively. I've jumped on the TikTok,
Right.
Doing some of that. I've shot a couple of things with my buddy, this old sketch comedy character we used to do. I've been putting that stuff on Facebook and on my Instagram and stuff. But it's hard because you don't when you're used to a routine, you go to work every day. We had FSW twice a month, and you see all the boys. I haven't seen the boys. I don't know what's going on with them. I'm only through phone calls and emails. I don't know what's going on. They probably left me. I don't know. I probably got to my clients. I don't know what the hell's going on. But it's nice that and so it's difficult. But unfortunately, we have to do what we have to do. I don't want to say that I've bought into the fear,
Right?
But I bought into the reality of it all. Listen, call it what you want, call it a hoax, call it the flu, but if it's the flu, then how come 400 people are dying a day? I mean, I don't want to get political into this.
Right.
I don't want to get anything into that.
Right.
It's like more people are dead in New York from this than from 9/11.
Right.
I don't want to get political, but we got to do what we got to do. If you got to wear a mask, if you got to stay inside, it is what it is. I haven't. If anybody needs toilet paper, by the way, I got a few rolls, $11 a roll. I'll autograph it and I'll send it to you.
There it is. Well, good to hear that you're still maintaining and utilizing your creative outlets. You got a little, I think, a little caviar on your shirt there, man. You've been.
Excuse me. Well, let me tell you something. Like when Uncle Sam sends you, last night I had lobster. You know what I mean? I had a couple of T-bone steaks. I'm lighting my cigars with toilet paper. I mean, I don't give a shit.
Living the dream.
Who cares?
Right. The American. Nah, I like it, man. But definitely being in Las Vegas, we had discussed earlier, everything's being shut down, and it's definitely taking a toll. Thoughts on rebuilding? How do we get back?
You know what? I got to tell you, it's tricky. It's tricky because, you know, like I got friends who are doing major shows on the strip who are getting notices that they're possibly not open until 2021.
Yeah,
And
sure.
and these are people that's all they do. Like I took a different path, you know. I still have the regular job and I still like to do the entertainment. Now I'm not saying that's right or that's wrong, but I got friends that are bartenders who don't know when they're going back to the nightclub. They don't know when they're going back to the pool parties. Like people come out here during the summer. Specifically, they want to go in the pool for 12 hours and they want to drink margaritas. Like
Right.
I've heard rumors that they're not even opening the pool. So how are we going to get people in here? How are you going to get someone to a casino at 50% occupancy? Number one. Number two, let's be real here, Dave. During this 3 months, like really, who's got the money to jump on a plane to come? Even if, for argument's sake, all the hotels are like, hey, all rooms are $50 across the board, no matter what hotel.
Right.
Like, who's got that to spend? Who's got that to blow? You know, New York is having you know, same thing in New York, same thing in California. Like, I knew it was real, this whole pandemic thing, when Disneyland closed.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Like Disney World in Florida stays open during massive hurricanes and tornadoes.
Right.
Like once they closed, I'm like, we're fucked.
Yeah,
Like
that's all
this
right.
is
Right. Well, it hit me when
if the mouse ain't open.
yeah, it's the end of the world. Now, once they told me, once they announced that they were closing the strip, I was like, that's not real. Like, there's no way they're going to close the strip. Then once they shut that down, it was like, oh, there's something to this.
When they shut down sports, I was at work that night when the NBA made their announcement that they were shutting down.
Right.
Like that's also unheard of unless it's a strike.
Yeah. So it's crazy, but
So I mean, it's got to be real. I mean, it has to be on some form of real where they're scared a little bit because look, like I said, I don't want to get political, but if you want to blame the government, fine. But like when things like that start closing,
oh yeah,
someone's got to be a little more scared than just that. You
right.
know, when these guys that, you know, $600 a ticket to see a game, people are paying for it. They rely on that money. You know, if they're going, fuck it, we don't want to risk it. Now you know something's going on. But yeah, when they closed the strip, I drove down about a month ago. I drove down the strip.
Okay.
Like, I wanted to shoot a movie.
Right.
Like it was so apocalyptic and weird.
Right.
You know, not seeing a soul. Like even the bums weren't even there, and that's when you know shit's real. Like that should be the time that they're living it up, dancing in the fountain, taking a bath in Caesar's fountain. You know what I mean?
Taking full advantage. Yeah, no, it's crazy out there how it bounces back. I guess time will tell.
That's it.
I mean, and then all we can do is just kind of sit back and I guess wait at this point. So good that you're keeping busy on the creative end and you're looking good, man. Very healthy over there.
Going on walks.
Okay. Daily walks?
I'm going on hikes.
Okay.
I'm daily walks with the dogs. The other day we went on an 8-mile hike in Boulder City. Like, I don't want to do this shit. Are you crazy? What with me? Like,
Right.
I sit on my ass. Like, and here's the other thing. For a guy who all he ever wanted to do in his whole life was sit on the couch and watch TV, now that I got permission from the entire world to do it, I don't want it.
Right.
That's
now,
on my own terms.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's the problem. Everybody's like, "This is what you prayed for." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I guess." So here it is. Now,
But I prayed for it with the dispensable income.
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, definitely. So tell me this. Let's transition into your journey through pro wrestling. You're FSW, greatest manager in the world. How did you? Well, tell me about your love for wrestling. Like, how did that start? Like, at what age? Earliest memories?
So my father is a huge wrestling fan.
Okay.
My cousins, people growing up in New York, which besides like, you know, Minnesota and down south and Canada is like, I mean, that's the Mecca. People call it New York when they talk about the WWE. You know? So we used to go everything. I mean, if it was at the Garden, if it was at Nassau Coliseum, if it was even in you know, Jersey at the Meadowlands, like we went to everything. We went to every event. My father, either got passes because he worked for the papers when I was growing up. He worked for the newspapers, so he always got passes. He always knew friends that had passes, so we went to everything. One of my earliest memories, and I love telling this story, we were at Nassau Coliseum, and Don Morocco and the Iron Sheik were in a tag team.
Okay.
And I was so young, I really don't remember who they were fighting, and my dad doesn't remember either because I brought this up to him a couple of weeks ago. The end of the match, they're walking up the ramp, and some guy spits on him
Morocco?
and hits. He spits at Morocco and the Sheik and hits him with a loogie. The Sheik, and let me tell you, it's like it just fucking happened. The Sheik and Morocco look at each other. They pull this guy over the guardrail and proceed to beat the living shit out of him. Now, whether it was work or it was shoot, I was about 6 years old, and all I remember was that was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And I mean, from my earliest time, I mean, we went to Saturday Night's Main Event.
Okay.
We went to a couple of those. A lot of the Madison Square Garden shows, a lot of the house shows. I went to WrestleMania 9 out here. But always growing up, always wanting to be an entertainer and being an actor. I always knew I was never a big guy. I was terrible at sports, like legitimately horrible at sports.
Right.
There's a story my dad will tell you. When I was a kid, I wanted to try and play basketball. And he loves telling the story that I'm running the other way as all the guys are running this way. So that tells you like how athletic I was.
Right.
But I always knew that guys like Jimmy Hart and Bobby Heenan and J.J. Dillon and Frenchie Martin, like all these guys, I'm like, that's awesome. Now as a kid, I'm thinking, they don't know how to do a damn thing. Like they don't know how to, like they're not getting hit a lot.
Right.
But then you'd see like Bobby Heenan in like the match where they had him in a weasel suit, or you'd see him get a punch, or you see like Jimmy Hart get a smack and go over the ropes. I'm thinking, oh, that's a shame. These poor guys, like they're managers, they don't get hit.
Yeah.
Like that was me as a kid.
Right.
But always thinking to myself, I can do that. And I always wanted to. But how do you?
Right. So that was as a kid. You were interested.
That was as a kid.
Okay.
Oh yeah, even as a kid. And look, all of us as kids had those wrestling matches with their friends or their cousins. Right. I mean, I broke my bed when I was 13 because I edged my cousin onto the bed.
Right.
And it snapped, and my old man beat the piss out of me for that. But I never knew. So when I was in high school, of course, I had some more friends. And when we got out of high school, a lot of those friends went to Buffalo Jim's school out here.
Okay. So when did you come out to Vegas? You were in Queens, yeah?
Yeah, I came out here. I was 12.
Okay. So as you were out here, still wrestling fan, and they were going to Buffalo.
I went to every show out here. Anything. I mean, my father, God bless him. Like because he wanted to go too. It wasn't that taking my son to wrestling. Like my dad was just as nuts.
Okay.
My dad was just as crazy when it came down to it. Like we watched Raw every night. We watched Nitro. We were on vacation one time in California. It was me, him, my mother, and my sister. And we happened to be there during a Monday night. And my father goes, we got to hurry up and get this done. Him and I got to get back to the room because Raw starts soon. Like, that's how, like, even on vacation,
right.
we had to watch wrestling.
Okay.
And then I got out of high school, and I got a job at a place called the WCW Nitro Grill.
Beautiful.
Which was at the Excalibur.
Yeah.
And for a wrestling fan, no better place to work. There was no better place to work. And I got to meet so many people working there. I got to be quote unquote in charge of the autograph signings, because every month they used to come in for autograph signings. And basically what that meant was they would let me like work the line and make sure that everyone,
right.
Whatever. But I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
And at the WCW Nitro Grill, I met a gentleman by the name of Joe DeFalco.
Okay. Now you say gentleman.
Joe DeFalco, then he was.
Right.
Joe DeFalco used to come in because he had a radio show.
Okay.
So he used to come in he got to know the people and he would always have the wrestlers on and this and that. And we became buddies. He was in there all the time. And, I hung out with him. I used to call to his radio show and like he would get tickets to like events or I would get tickets and we'd go. Joe was good. Joe made me laugh because I'm like, look at this. Another New Yorker. He was a ball breaker. Like he did. Joe DeFalco had hair down to his ass.
Yeah.
Long black hair down to, oh man, if you see pictures, you'll lose your mind.
Like
Spiked on
Fabio,
top. Oh, Fabio, forget it. So,
huh?
so that's where I met Joe.
Okay.
So then that place closed. I started getting heavy into acting and wrestling sort of was there, but I got out of it for a little bit as far as watching it and being a fan.
Okay. Had you been acting prior to that? Like prior to
Oh yeah. So my first real thing was out here, community theater.
Mm.
Then in college, I did a whole bunch of stuff. Did the Nitro Grill, worked at a place called Roxy's Diner at the Stratosphere, which was we were singing waiters in a 50s restaurant.
Okay.
Then I got Tony and Tina's wedding. So then I just started acting, commercials, movies, Tony and Tina's wedding, sketch comedy shows, this and that. And wrestling was there and I knew about it, but I kind of got away from it a little.
Okay. Interesting.
And then in, I think it was 10, 09. 09 or 2000, I don't know. The second year anniversary of FSW.
Okay.
Somebody sent me a Facebook message, a friend of mine. And he goes, hey, this company opened up. They're an indie federation. I want to go. Let's go and break balls. I said, you know what? I haven't watched wrestling in forever. Let's do it.
All right.
I'll be a son of a bitch. Who do I see there? Joe DeFalco.
All right.
I hadn't talked to or seen Joe in 10 years.
Okay. That's great.
Maybe 12. It had been a long time since I had seen him.
Okay.
So he sees me. We laugh, we joke, blah, blah, blah. And there was a match, and a manager comes out, guy by the name of Dino Danelli.
Yeah.
Loud Italian son of a bitch. Shout out to Dino. God bless him.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got the whistle. He's got the cane. He's got the thick accent. I'm like, oh, this guy's beautiful. Long story short, at the end of the match, they fire him. Rocky T comes out and fires him.
Was it that was a shoot or that was?
Hey, they fired him. That's all we know. You know what I mean?
He gone. That's all we know.
He's gone. So after the match, I go up to DeFalco. I go, hey, looks like you're down in Italian. Let me know if you need anything.
Right.
Breaking balls. So we're Facebooking the next day. He goes, hey, look, why don't you come down to the school, check it out, see what's what. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, come down. Maybe you could be a manager or whatever. We'll see what's going on. Why not? What the hell?
Right.
So I go to the ex-wife and I said, look, this is what happened. And I got to let you know, I'm going to go down there. So I go down.
How's she respond?
Okay.
All right.
But the okay in a, I don't know what you're talking about, but all right, go ahead.
Right. Do your thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I go down there and I get to meet a man who I've seen on TV and all this, Michael Modest.
Okay.
Who was the head trainer down there at the time. And I'm talking to Joe. He introduced me to Mike Modest. And he goes, all right, let's run a promo or something. So sit down here. You're going to say this. You're going to say that. Blah, 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 blah.
This is the first day you walked in.
First day I walked in. He goes, let's just see what happens. Because, I mean, Joe knew kind of what was going on with the acting and this and that. And I did it. And Modest was real receptive. He's like, wow, that's pretty, that's good. Blah, blah, blah. Joe enjoyed it, gave me some notes, was real cool about it. Mike gave me some notes. And long story short, Joe goes, all right, I'm going to need you in about 2.5 weeks.
It's showtime, huh?
Wait, what? He goes, 2.5 weeks or a month, whatever. It was the next show. So whenever it was from then.
Okay.
But it was a very, very short time. And let me break and say that I feel very blessed to have been thrown into the loop so quick.
Right. So there was no, was they were doing the school at that point? Yeah. Modest was
Yeah,
there.
they were doing the school. Modest was there. I went in for a couple days of training, and once again, I was repulsively horrible. So we're talking, Joe and I, and Sally was born. Now, Sally, oddly enough, is a name I used at the Nitro Grill because we all had to have wrestling names.
Okay, cool.
Now, the cat that got me the job at the Nitro Grill used to call me Sal because we used to run in the same circle, and he used to say I looked like a Sal. So they used to call me Sal.
All right.
The E came from DeFalco. So we were talking, and he goes, well, you're Sal E, right? I go, okay, fine.
Right.
I went in my closet. I grabbed the tracksuit because I had 5 of them there. I started using the whistle and the cane because that's what Dino did, because when I started, I was Dino Danelli's nephew.
Okay, nice.
So I had the cane and I had the whistle. The whistle went away. The cane went away, and I brought in the baseball bat. But that first night, David, I was shitting my pants.
Well, shout out to DiMaggio. We haven't seen DiMaggio in quite some time. That's the baseball.
DiMaggio's got to have a comeback.
Yeah.
DiMaggio's in for a comeback, I think.
And the tracksuits.
So
let me get some of that.
So then he tells me, I used to get the Sean John one, which is my favorite. That's the velour one. Then I had the 3 silk ones, and then I had the shitty feeling one. So Joe tells me, he goes, you're going to be managing Michael Modest and Mike Delight.
Okay.
Because that's who Dino was managing. Now, forget the fact that I'm managing. To me, Michael Modest, beyond the mat,
right,
all of his achievements, I'm like, Michael Modest? That's the most, okay, fine. That and Michael Modest, shout out to him. I learned so much from him. Like he taught me so much, like about little intricacy, and Dino too. Like Dino, once he started giving me a lot of stuff. Shout out to him too. I learned so much from him. As far as like bringing in the acting, I knew, but there's so much stuff that's beyond that.
Nuances. And that, I'm very curious about that. So it's your first night. You said you were nervous because obviously it's the first time you acted before. And just a little sidebar is, how do you get over that nerves? Is it still something that kicks in, or like, are you
every time?
Okay.
And I always say this, and this is something I truly believe, that whatever you do, if you're not nervous every single time you're doing it, then you're not doing it right.
Right. Okay.
Now there's different nerves, like that first night, because Joe handed me, he goes, promo, this, beep, bop, boop, get these out. Oh my God, I got to remember this, and I got to remember that, and how to step in the ring, and A to the P, and do this, and not do too much because the guys are working. But let me tell you something. Modest introduced me as his new manager. They've never seen me.
Right.
I got such boos. They never seen me before. Right. I come out, I had the brown Janelli Paulie Walnuts tracksuit on. I had the big white 92 Air Jordans, pristinely white.
All right.
I had the chains on, the whole thing. I come out, they hated me. They didn't know who I was. Get in the ring, I cut the promo. I'm shivering, but I got to tell you what, it was a completely different rush than from any other entertainment I've ever done. Because you're a character, but you're real.
Right. Yeah.
Like you're right there. I mean, you've seen it, man. You've been, I mean, you're captain front row, baby. Like you've seen the stuff they do.
Right.
You've seen the stuff they do and say to me, like, so it was so awesome. Like that first night, and it happened like that. Happened like that. Next thing I know, we're done. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell happened.
Right.
But I felt so good. And I remember going up to Joe and Modest, how was that? And you know, I got the okay, and I felt great. And it just got easier after that. But there's nothing better. I don't care what any of these guys say. There's nothing better than being booed.
Right. Well, yeah, and like when you're trying to garner that reaction, I would say so, because I think everybody wants to be hated or
Oh
evil
yeah.
in some sort of way, and it's like to have the I'm just doing my thing excuse behind it.
I don't want to shake hands and kiss babies. The hell with that shit. Like
Right.
I want them to curse me. I want them to throw things at me. Like
So
that's it. I don't.
with that, you talk about it was the most rewarding like feeling versus, yeah, I mean, you had been acting, you done the live like the Tina and Tony and Tina's wedding, but with this it was just it was essentially you turned up, correct? Is that what made it more?
That and the fact that I got to be part of wrestling.
Yeah, no, that's
Something I grew up with my entire life. Something I used to get in arguments with people in school
right.
because it's fake, it's this, it's that. And now here I am up there, whatever scale you want to call it. You know, I've said this to the Valco and Rocky team many times. Like, you guys took a shot on a 5'3", 220-pound at the time, non-athletic fat ass
All right.
to come out there and just do his thing. And you know, it was such a rush. And I remember calling my dad, and someone took a video on the phone. I sent it to the old man, and he's like, "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen."
Right, a
And
tear was I, huh?
yeah, it really did. And one of his favorite things that he used to say to me was, "So you didn't want to play football because you didn't want to get hurt, but you'll have these guys beat the shit out of you because you're having a good time." I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, Pop. Yeah." Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, and I think that wrestling is just one of those things. Everybody has wrestling experiences, like growing up. Like everybody's got a wrestling story, and most people will say, "Oh, I haven't watched it in years. I used to watch it way back when." But I think that if it sticks with you, like I watch wrestling even when I don't want to watch wrestling, just to I'll talk shit about it, but I always watch it.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, and it's horrible right now. But you always watch it, and it always turns around, and there's always something. But I think that's beautiful. So as a manager, you're in there. This is your thing. It's feeling magical. You're now in the pro wrestling business. What, for those out there, and also some people that watch this that like aren't pro wrestling fans or don't understand it, but just understand being creative, what is the role of a wrestling manager?
You're there specific. You're there to. You're a mouthpiece. You know, you're there to kind of sort of do the talking while they do all the in-ring magic. You know, sometimes you're there to boost, sometimes you're there to just make a little better, and sometimes you're there because it's a hell of a team. I like to think of myself, in my opinion, I like to think I'm very secondary.
Okay.
Like, the guys to me are the stars. I'm here to help you cheat, get you a little heat, garner a little heat, move the story along, stuff like that. But I will never say, and I've said this to many of the guys in conversation, like, I'll never say that I'm like, it's me, even though up there sometimes, you only exist because of me. That's come out of my mouth many a times.
Right.
You're a sideshow to them. They're the main attraction. You're the sideshow.
So
But
essentially,
you also get to
enhancing the talent.
Oh yeah, you're enhancing them. Yeah, you're definitely enhancing them. That's why you see a lot of guys with a manager, and then they break from them, and they're fucking huge. The manager did their job, or the role of the manager has done their job. But it's so, you can't really describe what it's like to be there with them. Like, in my opinion, I'm only who I am because of them.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I got a mouth. I'm wormy. I don't mind taking a beating here and there. But like, I wouldn't be who I was without Tyshawn, the Bonus Boys, Remy, Alcatraz. That little bit I was with Cepha. I wouldn't be Sally especially without T and the Dynasty and the Commandos. Like, if that whole thing didn't work, there would be no. I mean, Sally would probably be here, but we wouldn't be here right now, in my humble opinion. The Dynasty is what made me.
Okay. Well, so tell me this: how does that come about? Is it something that you're clicking with guys in the back and like, maybe we should do a thing, or is it Joe saying these guys could use some representation?
Joe.
Yeah.
I will give all that credit to Joe with the Dynasty. He, God bless him, he saw something in me to see where it would sort of meld, and work. So I give a lot of that credit to Joe putting that together. And I got to tell you too, the Commandos, God bless them. I learned a shit ton from them too, as far as managing goes, or as far as like things to say and how to do and how to be. Like, they gave me a lot of my best jokes when we were doing Dynasty.
Okay.
Because those two boys are quick, man. And also, if I may say, a lot of my promos, I have to nod my hat to the help of one Paulie Covert.
Okay. Shout out to Polly. Amazing.
Paul, let me tell you, so I met Paulie Covert, and it was instantly what we always called Heenan and Gorilla.
Okay.
Like, if you ever watched when we hosted High Octane and stuff like that.
Yeah. I've been watching the stuff all week, so beautiful stuff. Yeah.
Paulie, I would tell him what I'm going to say, and Paulie would go, all right, hold on a second. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Right.
That's beautiful. And, so I will admit that I've had tremendous amounts of really talented people around me to help me kind of build and craft certain aspects of Sally. Now, the base of Sally, like we said, is me.
Right.
Loud, New York, Italian, tracksuit, baseball bat. But a lot of words that came out of my mouth, and a lot of these other things I learned from the boys, and bless them all. Like Alcatraz was always great, modest. And, like I said, the Commandos and Bryce Harrison and Cody and Jack Manley and Remy, like all these guys really kind of would sit there and say, oh, this was great and this was great, and maybe try this next time. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm not going to sit here and go, the whole thing was me.
Right. Very humble.
Well, I mean, you got to, like, listen, David, I said it. I was thrown right in.
Right. Yeah. Feet to the fire.
Like, I didn't have that 2 years of training.
Right. So it was like on the job.
Brother,
Yeah.
on the spot. Now, good thing, like one thing I'm sorry that I had in my favor was the improv background.
Right.
Was the sketch comedy background, was the acting background. So it was easy to sort of think on my feet, but there's a certain verbiage in wrestling and talking and doing and how to present that if you watch Heenan and Jimmy and Corny and guys like that, you see it. It's kind of different. It's very big and it's very broad, and there's certain things to say and how to do it and little nuances. So when I started doing this, this was when WWE was on pay-per-view. Remember, it had that pay-per-view channel?
Yeah.
It had that own pay-per-view channel that was a lot. At the time, I got that. And I went back and I just started watching shit.
And were you more
Anything that
concerned on managerial? Yeah.
I was concerned on that and how they did it and what they were doing and all that stuff. I was really concerned on that. And plus I was concerned learning commentary because, you know, Joe wanted me to start doing some commentary, which I will tell you right now, I'm the worst at.
No.
I hate.
Well, I love the way you guys play off each other. Like it seems, and that's the thing, from the outside looking in, it all looks natural. You guys look like you're doing your thing. Like it flows.
Well, he's easy because he's a ball breaker.
Yeah.
And we have that same sort of mentality. So it's easy to jump off of him. But I get very nervous doing commentary. I'm not going to lie. But it's fun too. And hosting the show with Paulie was some of the best times ever because we would just get there and just think of the stupidest shit.
Right.
And we would do it. And God bless Joe, he put it on the air. You know, bear in mind it was 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday night, but he put that shit on the air.
Right. No, it's definitely classic stuff. Like I said, I was watching it all week, and like your guys' chemistry was just always on point. And I know even behind the scenes, you guys are great friends. But you could tell from Paulie that his love for wrestling is like out of control. Like he loves it and it flows.
If someone needed to write an encyclopedia of the WWE from like 1990 to now, you talk to Paulie Coder.
Right.
And he knows, like, when he talks about shit, I'm like, I didn't even think about that. He's a genius when it comes to that too. Look, fucking DeFalco's a genius.
Yeah.
I don't care. You know, he's a ball breaker sometimes, but the guy knows his shit. The guy knows his shit. He knows what he wants and he knows how to put it together. You know, and that's, in my opinion, why FSW has stayed longer than most out here. Because he knows how to put it together. He gets the right people. He knows what he's doing, you know. And think of the people that have come through this company.
Right. Yeah.
You know, the Matt Hardys and Jake and, you know, and Sin and Brian Cage and like all these people that are out there and you know, MVP and like all these guys, like he just Disco, you know, like he gets all these guys that just want to work and have a great time. And I mean, Kevin Nash, for Christ's sake, I was in a match against Kevin Nash, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That still to me is like the greatest thing ever. I got to break his balls when he was in the ring. like Magic Mike. I was talking shit to him. Like,
right. Nah, that's beautiful, man. So tell me about, so we had the Dynasty, which consists of, I guess, it was Suburban Commandos, Tyshawn, we had Alcatraz,
Sugar Brown,
Clutch,
Psycho.
Oh, Sugar Brown, not back in the, right. Okay, this is currently Bones.
So this was, so Sugar and Psycho.
Okay.
Were the Dynasty. So the original Dynasty was Tyshawn, the Commandos, Sugar, and Psycho. And then Tyshawn decided he wanted to shake hands and kiss babies.
Okay.
So we had to take care of that shit.
He had to go.
He had to go. I'm not about that.
Right.
And then Alcatraz came in, which was another awesome part of it. Because Alcatraz is a hell of a guy.
Okay.
Hell of a guy, hell of a worker, a lot of fun, funny motherfucker. Like, and that whole switch was great. Like that whole thing was beautiful. And then, of course, you know, I got beat up by T. He got that 5 minutes in the ring with me, and if
here's Cage before the account is closed permanently, if you know what I'm saying.
And look at Sally flopping like a fish.
And I'm gonna tell you this right now. Anybody wants to call it fake? Let's talk some shit. Okay. All right.
Well, let's
drop that leg on me. I couldn't breathe for a month.
Yeah. As far as the physicality, like, so obviously you train to take bumps. I mean, here and there, but it's still got to be taxing. I've seen some of your stuff, like we'll play a couple of clips here, but like the stink face. That, I mean, even that, like it's gimmicky, but it still looked like it's not comfortable. And then you posted the other day on your Facebook and Joe was talking about it, I think on the Vegas Bad Boys podcast where you got
Did he talk about it?
Yeah, where you got dumped on your head. Run me through that. We're gonna run a clip and then yeah, give me your
Mistake number 2. Sally gets in the ring, and Sean Ricker's got him. Oh wow! He hit head first, Joe. Head first.
All right. So with that, you got dumped on your head. What do you remember the show?
Yep. So we were in a beef with Sean Ricker, aka Eli Drake.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted a shot at the title. I wasn't in the mood, so we started throwing everything at him. He had a match with Sugar Brown that night. So I thought I got an idea. So Austin was the ref, and I was distracting Austin. My idea was to throw the bat into the ring for Suge to catch it and give Ricker the old beans, and we get out of it.
Right.
Ricker ended up catching the bat, giving Sugar 1, 2, 3. Ricker wins. Listen, that motherfucker, all I did was go to talk to my guy, make sure he was okay.
Yeah.
He wants to square up with me, grabs me, hurls me. Next thing you know, I'm going through the ropes, missile dive, brother. The ground came at me. I didn't go to the ground.
Right.
Smacked my coconut, dumped on my head, out like a light. Your buddy, Paulie Cover, he decided he was going to laugh and take pictures until he realized that my eyes were rolling in the back of my head.
Yeah. So number one, what went wrong there? And
Me.
number two, what was the aftermath? What did you do wrong?
I didn't know the spot.
Okay.
I'll admit it. I've admitted it before, but I didn't know the spot.
Like oblivious to what was about to happen?
No. I didn't know how to do it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know how to make it work. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I thought I did.
Right.
In my head, I was like, oh, I can do this. Brother, no. So I landed on my right here. I had a goose egg. I'm pretty sure I was concussed.
Yeah.
But I will say this, that I feel like God saw me coming out of the ring and said, I'm going to teach you what you did wrong, but I'm also going to save you.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, man, it could have went a lot worse than it did.
Right.
So I remember being out, and I remember waking up to everyone around me lifting me up and bringing me in the back. That shit hurt, man. Like, it hurt. And I remember a fan writing me the next day on my Facebook saying something along the lines of, we hate you, but we don't ever want to see that. And someone else wrote me and said, it sounded like somebody threw a boulder onto the concrete.
Yeah, there was no mat out there, correct? Yeah.
None. And look, I'll say it again, and I'm sure Joe said it, even though I haven't listened to that interview yet, but I'm sure Joe said it. It was my fault.
Yeah, he didn't say it, but he just
knows.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it was my fault. I'll admit this to the world, and everybody knows. And then after that, I sort of kind of made a pact that, like, I'll do some stuff, but if I do, I gotta know it.
Right.
I gotta go through it. And look, that's on me, because I kind of got to this point where I'm like, hey, Sally just comes out and does his thing, you know what I mean? But then you realize, if Sally ain't gonna get punched or hit or bruised up a little, then what's the point of Sally? You got to see him get a couple of shots here and there with everything he's done to everybody.
Yeah, people need that payoff. A little bit.
Right.
I don't like to see you get hurt, but yeah, I mean, it's a little reward.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
It's a little
Everybody
reward.
does.
Yeah, a little bit, little reward. So right now, currently, you are in it's Vandalay Sports Management. You've upgraded, man. The track suits, no more. You're in suits. You're looking like a professional. The bat's gone. Who are you currently managing, and how is that going?
Well, former No Limits champ Remy Marcel.
Shout out to Remy.
Remy, let me tell you, Remy's the best. Like I absolutely am proud to accompany him to the ring. I'm proud to sort of hitch my wagon to his star. You know what I mean? Remy's nothing but class, in my opinion. And of course, on and off for the last 4.5, 5 years are, in my opinion, whether or not I manage them or not, one of the greatest tag teams this company has ever seen, being the Bonus Boys.
Yeah.
I mean,
love the Bonus Boys.
Let me tell you, they are absolutely, talk about power and glory. Like, Clutch is an animal. Clutch is an animal.
Beast.
Like, you can't turn him off sometimes. Like, he's a beast in that ring. And as cliche as it sounds, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Suge, man, he's so clean in there and slick. Like, two more guys that I'm proud to, whenever I get the chance to join back forces with them, I love it. Vandalay Sports Management is we don't do things with bats anymore. Pens, papers, emails. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to class up the joint a little bit. But Sally's always underneath. I was just trying something new. Maybe trying to get a little more respect from the FSW brass. So they don't think I'm just a thug.
Right.
So I kind of try to incorporate myself a little bit. But hey, Sally's always there. Don't ever forget.
Yeah, he never goes away. But you managed
business
a lot of
license or not.
Yeah, you managed a lot of champions, and I think that Vandalay is a home of champions. So, what going forward with the future? Have you, during this downtime, have you been in contact with your clients?
Here and there. Working on plans. I'm supposed to meet up with Remy. I got to tell you, it's been tricky, with this quarantine. God bless Remy. He's been out there, pounding the pavement, making himself some beautiful photos and going out and doing his thing. And I wish I could be there, and hopefully soon I can. I just want to get back to business.
Right.
I just want to get back to business. New clients. I want to keep the boy. I work well. Like, the Bonus Boys don't need me, but damn it if we don't work well together.
Right.
Remy doesn't need me either, but there's a need, but then we work together well.
Right.
I handle all the business and I let them fight. Like, so many of these guys in this company, in my mind, the fact that they haven't reached another plateau, some of it is beyond me. Hitting the big leagues, is beyond me, because they're just as good as anybody out there.
I agree.
Some of them are better. And who the hell do they see? And, that would be a point of pride, watching them go where they got to go and do what they got to do. Like, I can't wait to get back into it. I cannot wait to get back into it. I'm losing my mind. I want to stand in that ring, and I just want to tell everyone to go fuck themselves, and then we'll start a match.
Yeah, definitely.
But I will tell you, there's about 7 or 8 fans I'm happy I haven't gotten to see in these last 3 months. That's all I'm saying.
Well, no names. We're not naming names. No ratting.
No, we ain't mentioning any names, but they know who they are.
All right. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to reopening. There's some remodeling going on down at the FSW arena. So
I heard that.
I think the fans are going to be in for a treat when they come back and see things differently, because, not only the show, but there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the meantime. Should be beautiful, and we look forward to seeing you back. So for anybody out there, like, I've always been interested, like, the physicality of it. Like, I wanted to be a wrestler since I was a little kid. Like you said, how do you get into it? I was in the same boat, and as I got older, I was like, it'd be dope to be a manager. and one not even like with aspirations of let me make it to the WWE, this and that, but I look at it as like it could be just a thing to fulfill a passion, work on some public speaking, overcome some fears, things of that nature. So to anybody looking to become a professional wrestling manager, what kind of advice can they get from the great Sally?
You know, honestly, you've got to go down and train. That's the biggest thing. You know, you got to learn the actual business itself. You got to know what's going on in that ring. And like I've told you, like we said, you know, mine was very on the job training.
Right.
You got to go in there. You got to know how to speak. You got to learn how to, managers got to know how to talk. If you can't talk, then there's really no reason for you to be. That's very important, is to know how to talk and to know how to command an audience. And know who you kind of want to be. And that's what's great about DeFalco. He doesn't tell you this. He lets you come up with it. And then he tweaks it and takes it and moves it. But you get to really pretty much create and do and let him take it from there. But I would say the biggest thing is to train, is get down there and train and study. You know, promos are very important. Speaking is very important. It's huge. It's huge. And
things started turning around for me. What you don't remember, shut up. What you don't remember is I inherited those two bumps. You know, I was doing a favor for somebody.
Over the top, and there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else like it. Like the minute you pop out that curtain and you hear those people, dude, I remember my first Sam's Town show, like, as silly as it sounds, I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
Because there were like 600 people there. And I've performed on stage in front of that, but
Right.
This was different. This was like, you've watched this. You've watched guys like Heenan and Heyman and all these guys walk down, you know, in front of thousands of people, and they're booing them. And finally there's smoke and there's fucking lights. And I look out, there's all these people. I'm like, this is it, man. This is what it is. This is beautiful.
Right.
And it also became a huge stress reliever for me.
In what sense?
I got to just go out there and be angry.
Right. So
and
therapy.
And talk some shit. Yeah. Like, especially them cats around the ring who want to talk some shit. You remember that old chick that used to curse at me?
Which one?
She used to always sit front row. Candy was her name.
Okay.
Real old. She used to sit there. That one? Like, dude, nothing was better than fucking just yelling at her and calling her all kinds of names in the world.
Right. So like, I can imagine that. Go ahead. Like, if you're having a bad day, even just behind the scenes, you come through that curtain, you could really just use it to vent and just put it all behind the character.
Oh yeah. Plus, it's like, it's a license to say whatever the hell you want, really.
Right.
You know, and then afterward, people would come up to you and be like, "Oh, you were really mean." I'm like, "Hey," like Hogan said in Rocky III. That's the name of the game.
Right.
Like, and then you meet the people who don't get that line between here's us here and here I am out here trying to have a cigarette or trying to eat a sandwich at TGI Fridays, and they still want to curse at you. I'm like, "Oh, stop! It's me now. Look, I'm in a T-shirt."
Do you get that a lot?
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to. Like me and Paulie, when we would go eat after, inevitably fans were there and they'd always try to like start some shit. I'm like, I'm in a Bugs Bunny T-shirt right now.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Leave me the hell alone.
Yeah. Well, it's still real to a lot of people. Like when they step out, and I talk with a lot of fans. That's the one thing. One of the things, many things that I love about the environment is the fans. It's just, you could talk with them for hours, but some of them are just so invested in it. It's like, whoa, ease up a little bit, but it's beautiful.
But on the other hand, why are we doing it if they're not?
Right. Yeah.
Like brother, you've been a loyal forever.
Right.
I mean, you've been a loyal forever. Whether or not there's a thing, people are like, oh, he's not at the show every week. Well, that's different. That doesn't mean you're not a loyal. Like, you're still a loyal. Your Chiefs, your George Foremans, your Jamie Markses, Brandy. Like, you got your loyals, and you got the people who are so invested, and that's what it's here for. What's different between, say, one of those people who are so invested in a match as opposed to someone who's so invested in the Yankees winning?
Oh, yeah.
Or the Bulls or whatever. There's no different.
Right.
People need to stop with the scripted bullshit. Okay, so what? But yet you'll cry at Game of Thrones.
Right.
You're telling me these actors are on set getting stabbed with swords?
Yeah, that's
Sonny, James Caan didn't take 700 bullets in real life in The Godfather.
right.
But it's still an emotional attachment. And much like any form of entertainment, knowing that we bring that to them is the best part of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like I've always been fascinated. I mean, I've always been a fan, but I think I watch it differently because I watch all the little nuances of like the two people communicate and how this is having
Yeah.
the story being told, or what you're doing on the outside, how that involves like people taking cues. Like, there's so much involved that people don't understand. And I was telling Joe about this, is like everybody that I brought to a show, once you see it live, it's a game changer. I can guarantee
most
you
definitely.
that majority of people that are ranting and raving about the Golden Knights couldn't give a shit about hockey, but they went to a live game and it was fun and they enjoyed it and they start to learn.
Right.
It's the same type of thing. Come out to a show and tell me you're not having fun.
Exactly.
There you go. So come out to a show, and I want to invite everybody out. Come out and have a good time. And like, it's. I mean, there's so much involved. People just think it's like wrestling, and like if you really think about everything, controlling the crowd, focusing on the match, everything that's going on. There's so much involved with pro wrestling that it's like Cirque du Soleil on a weekly basis. New scripts, new moves, everything.
And then what people also don't realize is what these
Hang on. He's trying to hold on. He's trying to get fancy now. Hold on. Hold on. Trying to get fancy. He's going outside. We're getting okay. Where's he?
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
What they don't understand what the guys go through.
All right.
Physically.
Yeah.
They don't realize what the aches and the pains and the sores and and the having to take off for a month or two or a couple of weeks to get back into health and get back into shape. Like, they don't understand that. They don't get, listen, whatever you want to talk about, you go through a table.
Right.
Tell me how you feel.
Right.
You get thrown on top of a fucking ladder. Tell me how you feel. Have I done these things? I have not. But some people that I call some dear friends have.
Right.
And I've seen them afterward. Guys like Funny Bone, guys like Sin, guys like Cody, Remy, anybody, Romero, anybody who's been in any kind of ladder match or tables or anything. I mean, come on. They don't get your average person is not just going to walk into a wrestling ring.
Right. Well, I look at it like, even as like, if I were to climb the top rope, jump off and drop an elbow, that's going to be painful to me. Right. And they don't see it as that, like, okay, like they must think it's like feathers that they're landing on or something. But like every aspect, running the ropes, and my brother came back, he had bruises all on him. It's a painful business. And people, I don't know how they don't see that, but if you really think about it, like, it's nonstop.
Because it stunts. But yet people have concussions. And then I've actually, over the years, have gotten past the wanting to argue with people over it. Because I'm not going to sit here and try to explain something to you when you have something in your head that you don't want to learn. You don't want to think about. It's nobody, fuck you. And, we enjoy it as a fan. We enjoy being in there. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Fuck them.
Yeah, I agree. I concur with that. So tell me this: are you watching any current products right now? WWE, NXT?
I recently started watching NXT again only because our
Cross.
boys over there,
Yeah.
over Crossy's over there. Watched a little bit of AEW. Funny enough, I'm an idiot, man. I watch a lot of old shit.
Yeah. That's all I watch.
I watch a lot of old shit, and like Paulie likes to break my balls. He's like, there's stuff being made now. I'm like, I want to watch the honky tonk man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to watch Shawn and Razor in the ladder match. I want to watch Flair and Rhodes, like, Steamboat and Mach.
Right.
I watch a lot of old stuff, but I don't have the network.
Okay.
And I don't have cable.
Okay.
I stream a lot of my shit.
What's going on over there?
Am I freezing again?
No. I mean, how come you ain't got the network?
I'm cheap. I don't want to spend the $10 a month.
All right, I'll get you my password, man. We'll get you in there.
And that's not. Well, the funny thing is, like, if there's Mania or pay-per-view, I call my buddy. I'm like, hey, you borrow the password tonight. I want to watch the event. He's like, okay, brother, here you go.
Right.
And only because, like, when I did have it, it was only for pay-per-views.
Right, once a month.
And every so often, like at night, I throw on, brother, I can't tell you how many fake emails I have to get that free month.
Yeah, you and
every
me.
every variation of my name, of my gimmick, like
Right.
six. I've had like 35 different, so I can get that month.
Well,
just to watch and shit. And then I jam it all in a month.
Yeah.
And then I'm good.
Yeah, that's the same with me. It's like I watch the old stuff. I haven't really kept. I watched WrestleMania. Obviously there was some standout, but it's hard to watch the empty arena matches, and then also just the creative aspect of it. But I have been catching, and I'm excited about NXT. Number one, because Cross is on there, but after seeing the presentation of how they put him out there, it's like, okay, it looks like they're gonna use him to his full capabilities. So that excites me. Other than that, I'm watching old school Saturday night's main event. I'm watching Gorilla and Heenan late night. I'll fall asleep.
Prime time, yep.
Yeah. I watch that every night. Just put it on and let it play. But I watch a lot of documentaries, and of course, anything FSW. I just got Fight Network, $4.99 a month. You can watch all the Mecca shows and pay-per-views. It's a hell of a deal to get caught up on things. Do you have Fight Network?
Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But I got to tell you what, man, we've done a lot. FSW has done a lot of great shit. Has had a lot of great memorable moments. Things that are unprecedented. I mean, I say this all the time. I'm like, man, Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Like Matt Hardy. And and all that shit with him and Disco was beautiful.
Yeah.
And having Jake there, and just a lot of great just a lot of great shit. Plus, all our homegrown talent is fucking amazing. All our champs have been beautiful. All our tag champs, like all those Silverton shows, all those Samstown shows, like shit at the school, like it was all phenomenal. It was all great stuff. One of my favorites is, and I don't even know if it's anywhere, but Alcatraz and Mike Modest had a weapons match when I was managing Modest.
Okay.
And Modest found a shopping cart behind the old FSW arena.
Uh-huh.
And he put me in the shopping cart, and I had the cane, and we actually jousted Al right into the stomach and knocked him over the guardrail. That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite moments. That shit was so funny.
Was that on video? We got video of that somewhere?
I hope so.
Yeah. All right. I'll have to check the archive, see what I could put in there. So going forward, I want to talk a little bit about just your acting, which you've done quite a lot of. But when did that start? Like there's something different about creative people. And kind of my struggle, like I've been in the music business, done that for years, and then got into video and then acting and then hosting and performing. There's something else that makes us do this, and it's insanity at fucking times. And a lot of people don't understand it. So when did it kick in for you as far as like, I want to do something outside of the box because it's a different kind of gig?
Well, I think, and I guess every kid will tell you who's in the entertainment business will tell you that it started from when I was a kid. You remember the beginning of Eddie Murphy's Raw when he's telling the joke in front of the family?
Yes.
That was me as a kid.
Okay.
That was me as a kid. The family's like, I was doing impressions and reciting movies and telling jokes. And I remember being a young kid and my uncle, to piss off everybody, bought me a Mr. Microphone.
Yeah.
And it had the little speaker box on the side, and I would go around fucking doing shit. And I always knew I wanted to do that. And then we moved out here, and I started doing community theater and getting into shit. Rocco's phone here. Rocco don't got AT&T. Rocco got that piece of shit Cricket mobile phone. All through high school, I did every show, and I actually started doing improv in high school.
Okay.
Knew I loved it. I always liked comedy. Got out, went to UNLV. I sort of floundered there a little bit.
At UNLV?
Education, yeah, it was. Because I just wanted to act. So it's like, yeah, I'll go to poli-sci tomorrow.
Right.
You know. Did some shows there. And like I said, out of there, I was the singing waiter. So I kind of crafted how to be an MC and a host. Then I got Tony and Tina's, and then started doing sketch comedy while I was doing Tony and Tina's. And Tony and Tina's was all basically improv, structured improv.
And what was your role at Tony and Tina's?
I played a few. I played Dominic, who was Tony's brother.
Okay.
I played Sal, the photographer, and I also played Vinny Black, who was the room caterer, who was the MC and hosted the whole night. And halfway through the show, right after dinner, he got to do a 5-minute stand-up monologue. But
You did.
so
Hang on.
jokes on my Instagram. All those jokes lately.
Hang on. You're getting a little choppy there. I want to hear this. You can hear me? Can you hear me? Hello.
It's got to be this room.
Yeah,
It's gotta be this room.
That room's no good, man. We gotta
You
get
got
you.
me?
We gotta get there. He's back,
Yeah,
ladies and
that
gentlemen.
room's
He's
no
back. So we're talking. So you do some stand.
So in the middle of the show, the character that Vinny Black, who was the room comedian, would tell these jokes, the ones like I'm doing on the Instagram lately.
Yeah.
All those jokes.
Okay.
So I really started to hone that, how to host and how to tell jokes in that fashion and things like that. And that's what I love to do. Like, that's like, if I could be the new Jackie the Joke Man Martling, I would.
Okay.
Like, that's my love. If I could get up on a stand-up stage and go, so these two guys are sitting in a rowboat, you know, if I could just do that, fucking brother, I'd be the happiest human being that ever walked on the face.
Well, how come you can't? The fuck?
It's not, you can, but people don't dig that anymore. You got to find that niche. And it's probably that I should just go out there and do it and say, fuck it, and see what happens.
And maybe if you do it in that character, man.
People now want, you know, the situational comedy, you know, oh, so my wife and did, which is great. Don't get me wrong. That's not me.
Right.
So I started doing Tony and Tina's, and about
All right.
4 years into that, I got bored. And a buddy
You
of
got
mine,
bored?
Bored. Burnt.
Okay.
Burnt.
It's just doing the
7
same
nights,
shit. Yeah.
7 nights a week for 4 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though it was only 2.5 hours a night, burnt.
Yeah.
So one day, a buddy of mine, may he rest in peace, calls me. He says, hey, I'm doing this. I started doing this show. We're rehearsing right now. I don't know if I want to do it because they want me to cut my hair. I said, what are you talking about? What big deal? He goes, no, they want me to cut my hair like yours.
The reverse
Here
mohawk.
with nothing here.
Yeah.
The reverse mohawk. He goes, come on down. I want to introduce you to these people. I meet them. They like me. They offer me sick money.
Okay.
But the show's a disaster. We closed at intermission opening night.
Yeah, real talk.
Real talk, son.
Well,
Intermission.
how the fuck does that happen? Just no ticket sales? I mean.
Oh no, it was just a horrible show, and like that itself should have been a show.
Yeah.
Like everything that happened. So we're in there. Something happened during the show that was just an atrocity. And they dropped the curtain while I'm on stage, and I'm like, what the fuck is? We go backstage. I'm not going to mention the hotel, but the entertainment director of this particular hotel walks in and goes, you're out. And the director goes, the end of the night? He goes, oh, no, now. You're not going back out there. You pack it up and get out of here.
Shit.
So now I'm out of work.
Right.
Because I left Tony and Tina's like who the fuck I was.
Right.
About 3 weeks later, the audition notice comes up for Sopranos Last Supper.
All right. Nice. What year was this?
06.
Okay. You're a Sopranos fan, I'm assuming.
Oh, my dad and I, you couldn't bother us on Sundays.
Okay. Yeah.
Like legit. Like get out.
Yeah.
Like my phone used to be off. Like it was ridiculous. So my buddy calls me and goes, do you see this audition notice? I go, yeah, but I don't fit any of that. And he goes, come on, let's go anyway. So I go, he calls me up and he's looking at me, the director and the producer, may she rest in peace, who was a very dear friend. And I remember him going, can you read Silvio for me? Yeah, I can. And he goes, okay. He goes, can you try to impersonate him? I said, yeah, I'll do my best. I turn around, I come in, I go.
Oh, there it is.
And he starts laughing. So I start doing it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, because I'm seeing everybody else there, I'm like, that was a good audition, but I don't look. I'm short. I'm this. I don't look. I'm bald. Like, blah, blah, blah. Day later, he calls me. He goes, we're going to take a chance on you. We got to get you a wig. He goes, I don't want to take a chance on you, not because your acting is terrible. He goes, you blew it out of the water. He goes, we're looking for people that look like. So I got the gig, ran that shit for 4.5 years.
Okay, was it? And where was that at? That was at the Riviera, or?
We started at the Empire Ballroom.
Okay.
Which is a club behind the MGM. Then the Riv in the Comedy Club. Then the Greek Isles.
Okay.
Which was over there by the convention center on
Paradise.
The Paradise Itch, yeah. And then the Tropicana built us our own little room, and we ended at the Trop.
Okay, so it had a 4-year run, and you played Silvio the whole time?
Silvio, and then a couple times, because the script went through, actually, I was part of 3 different script writes that I helped write.
Okay.
And one of them, we made me Artie.
Artie Bucco.
So, Artie Bucos.
Baby quail stuffed with fennel sausage.
Can I get 8 from eating this?
Yeah.
So I put on the mustache, you know, the
Yeah.
whole thing. That was a lot of fun. I had fun. That show, though, was so much fun. And the people I met, I'm still friends with every single one of them. Such a time capsule of a great just moment in my life, those 4 years.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I never made it to that show, but it's definitely, I think that's something that would still work today. Like what, it just ran its course or what?
Well, some things happened, and the guy pulled out the money. Eventually, he was like, "Nah, I'm good." But I've actually, funny that you said that. I've thought about that for the last like year, especially now since Many Saints of Newark's coming out next year. I'm like, you could strike that shit while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
You know, whole new story. Like I got this wacky idea that, you know, after it cuts to black, like nothing happened. Like he didn't get killed or anything like that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
come up with a whole new kind of weird, silly story because it was a comedy.
Right.
You know, it was a spoof. I mean, everybody was solid in that show. You know, we all were expected to maintain a character. Like nobody, like they didn't look at him and go, "Oh, that's Christopher." Like my buddy sounded like him.
They bought it. Yeah, yeah.
Did makeup like him. You know, the Tony was great. The Carmelas and my friend that played Melfi was absolutely ridiculous. She was so spot on. She had that voice the way Melfi does, and you know, because I hate that character myself, but she was spot on. It was a great time, and then after that, you know, because I've done Tony and Tina's on and off for 17 years,
Okay.
so I've always gone back and forth. I worked at the Mob attraction that was over at the Tropicana.
Okay.
For
Tell
a
me
few
this real
years.
quick. With The Sopranos, did you get burnt out with that of doing it for 4 years?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But I will say this.
The money. The money.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, so tell me this in something like that. I think, you know, if you're in a creative, like I could do this shit all day. 10 people may watch it, 11 people may watch it. It's the outlet. When you're getting paid to do some shit, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I can do this forever. Is it the same like when you go to a 9 to 5 where it's just like this has gotta, I mean, because you're limited, like it's not like you're doing your own characters, you're scripted, you know, somebody else is like, how is that?
It gets there. It gets there. But then for me, it definitely gets there where you're like, Jesus Christ, I've been walking like this for 3.5 fucking years. But then you turn around and you go, I'm an actor.
Right.
No matter what anybody thinks, I was in that 3% of people. Dude, I was on the Las Vegas Strip.
Right.
Maybe I wasn't Cirque, but I was in major hotels doing major productions,
Right.
making money.
No, I think that's
So
beautiful.
yeah, you do wake up and you're like, oh man, what I wouldn't give to just be a goddamn garbage man for a day. And then you're like, wait a second. I went to bed at 2:00 in the morning. I get up at 3. I got to shower, brush my teeth, and head to the show. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like the life.
You get stuck.
Right.
You get stuck.
Well, I
And
think with anything, it's I guess it wears on you, especially if you're doing the same thing in and out. But I can understand it's beautiful, and probably looking back now, you're like, fuck yeah, that was dope. Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. So with like, obviously when you're taking those ventures and you're going into acting and you're doing, you know, the comedic stuff, there's ups and downs. Like I've had tremendous failures. I've had a lot of opportunities where I'm like, oh fuck, this is it. This is what I wanted. And then maybe flop. So what is like one time that maybe you had it, if it was The Sopranos or whatever it might've been, where you were like, this is it. Like my shit's taken off.
That one at the Rib I told you about.
Mm-hmm. The one that mid show.
The one that closed mid show. And the only reason why I was down on that was because, brother, the contract they gave me
Yeah.
was sick.
Ridiculous.
So in my head, I'm like, well, shit, even if I get a year out of this bastard, I'm going to be set. There was another gig I did where I was in line to be the new spokesman for the New York, New York. And
Okay.
this was in 20. Like, probably 08.
Okay. 2008.
So look it up. It's called Vinny versus Vinny if you want to look it up.
I will.
And you'll see some of the pictures and shit. And it was a contest, but you had to audition for it. And the winner was going to be the new spokesman for the New York, New York for 2 years
Okay.
with a $90,000 a year contract.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I beat out, and funny, the guy who actually won it was another friend of mine. We beat out, I think they said something like 10,000 people between New York and Las Vegas and California and here to do this.
That's huge.
So right off the bat, I'm like,
Next level.
who's gonna beat me?
Right.
So the competition was 6 weeks, and it was literally stupid competitions twice a week. Hot dog eating contest, or this contest, or that contest. But then the whole day,
All right.
brother, I'm making $300 a day just to walk through that casino at a New York, New York, and politic my name.
Okay. Yeah. Forget about it, right?
So then it comes down, and it comes down to the final bit, and I ended up not making it by, if I can use a term that Uncle Junior uses, I lost it by a cunt hair.
All right. Yeah.
Brother, now bear in mind, the consolation prize was ridiculous. The consolation check and all the perks were pretty ridiculous, but it wasn't the gig.
Right.
Man, I thought it was it. I was like, that's it. It's over. Like, I can't even hit this shit. Like, I crawled into that bottle for a couple months, man. Went to my normal job. And the worst part was like, look, you get over the failure.
Right.
If you've done this shit enough. Now, bear in mind, I haven't reached the strata that I have some friends, but I've lost a lot of gigs and been turned down on stuff. But like when you lose something that's kind of that, where you're like, God, I'm going to be on this billboard and that billboard and there, I'm going to be all over the world on a commercial and EPB, you know. But the worst part was going into my work the next day after losing, and people are like, oh, so you didn't get it, huh? And you're like, no, motherfucker, I didn't get it.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get the people like, oh man, it should have been you. Yeah, I know. Get the hell out of my cubicle. I got work to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. But I think it's that
But-
reality of knowing that you're going back to like this is life. Like fuck. So
Well-
how do you stay resilient? I mean, because that's the business. Like it's nonstop, like ups and downs, and like this is gonna work. Nope, it's not going to. But we keep going, and it's driving ourselves insane and insanity, thinking this one's the one. And how long do you
Well-
let something play out, and how do you keep going at it?
I've started to, over the past few years, it's just been, it hurts, but you can't let it. You got to realize that it's not always you.
Mm-hmm.
That unfortunately, sorry, this guy had a better mustache.
Right.
And it sucks. And like, remember when I did that thing last year in Boston? I did that television pilot.
Yes, born in Rhode Island, or made in Rhode Island.
Made in Rhode Island.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you say, boys? Yo, Chicky D, I was looking for you.
I'm paying you in Bitcoin.
It's hipster money.
What the fuck are you trying to pull? You squaring up or not?
Brother, I wasn't allowed to pick up a drink. People were bringing me water. I had steaks made for me. They're cutting my cigars and lighting them for me. Like,
right.
I'm getting my ass wiped. Like, I came back, my girlfriend's like, don't think I'm doing that shit.
Right.
You know, like I sat there and I went, and my friend who's my manager, she goes, how did it go? And I go, that's how it is.
Right.
That's how I should be treated.
Right.
But then you also have to realize that you're a normal person. You're not Brad Pitt.
Right.
You're not Jerry Seinfeld. You're not these people yet.
Right.
You got to bring yourself back to earth. Now, you know, my girlfriend will tell you that there was probably 2 weeks of depression when I got back from that.
Was
Because
that a one-time shot or?
So they want to sell it
Right.
as a series.
They're working on it.
You know, and the thing is, like, what people don't realize is shit doesn't sell overnight.
Right.
Like, there's stuff that's in the can for 3 years. Like, there's pilots that are sitting on the shelves and they finally sell the pilot. Like, look at the pilot for Sopranos. I think that thing is like 2 years before they went into like the second episode, or a year and a half or something like that. It was in the can.
Right. Yeah.
So
they shipped it everywhere.
you can't just sit there and go, what's happening with it? You got to let it go.
So what you said you came back? You came back and you were depressed. 2 weeks. Was it because that was? I mean, obviously you just shoot the pilot and then you just wait. Was that where the depression kicked in? It's like the uncertainty. No.
The depression was, that's what I should be doing.
Right.
That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
That's where my depression was because, man, they set me up in this beautiful house. Like, you know, we didn't have to pay for anything. We were treated like gods. I was acting. I was on set 10 hours a day, you know, acting. So that's where the depression really came into play, was that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to come back here and, you know, go back to bussing tables.
Right. So how do you, and I completely understand that. And I think that, I mean, one of the reasons I love talking with you is because we're rare. I mean, there's a lot of us out there if we could just find each other, but it's rare that people understand those feelings. Like, you know, I used to have people always question, like, why do you keep doing this to yourself? Or, you know, I don't get it. Like, they just want to work a job, go home, you know, and it's like, I'm not wired that way, you know, and like, it's it. So I can imagine. So what keeps you going?
I'm not wired that way. I don't know anything else.
Right.
You know, what keeps me going? The urge and the love and the want is always there. It's always there. I tell you, you know, like I said earlier with the TikTok, like, people are breaking my balls. There are people on TikTok with 1 million followers.
Right.
Okay? I got 6,000. But there are people that write me and go, man, you're a funny cat, or doing those little sketch comedy videos I do on my sketch comedy show that was at the House of Blues or whatever. I'm good. I'm getting it out. And I'm going to always try. Maybe because of the family and things like that, I don't have the benefit of packing up and going to LA, because here's the other thing is, as much as I want to do shit, like, I don't want to be away from my kids.
Right.
And I think that, you know, I don't want to say it's hindered me, but I'm different in that way. Like, you know, I could probably move to LA and live with a buddy and make something happen.
Right.
It's a weird thing.
No,
I
100% get it. Like, so when I moved to Vegas, my son was originally with his mom. I moved out here. I was out here for about a year. And like, that was my biggest thing, is I didn't want to leave my son. After the year, he came back and he was living with me. And, you know, I still pursued all my entertainment ventures, but it definitely made it, he was number one priority. I mean, you know, so there's that juggle of responsibility, right, love, and then like passion. Like, there's, like, how do you have it all and juggle it all, you know? So what is, at this point, what would you say your goal is? Whether it's in professional wrestling, is there a wrestling goal that like another level that you want to go to as far as the management, and then also on the acting end, where do you want to end up?
Oh man, like if I had my way, we've been having this conversation, poolside at my Malibu estate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I just want to be happy. I just want to continue to be happy. I want to provide for my family, and the goal's always there. Like one day, look at Morgan Freeman. Like he got his big break when he was what, 40 something. Same thing with Sam Jackson.
Right.
Like it's never too late. I just want to. I'll always hit that. And until then, as long as people find me useful, DeFalco finds me useful, or I can keep doing my sketch comedy stuff with my friends. And I got a couple of ideas on the fire right now that you and I'd actually want to talk to you offline about it. But I got a couple ideas in the fire that I got cooking. Working on a couple things. Just keep myself entertained and keep myself happy.
You're right. So like it is a daunting thing. So even like I said, like doing this, nobody said, "Hey, David, go do a podcast," and it's on my mind. Why the fuck did I schedule this? All I want to do is just nothing, have a fucking drink, watch Netflix, take a fucking nap. But now I got to go prep interview questions, and like I'm doing this to myself, which is the insanity. But it's therapy. Like if I didn't have this, like I know I would probably be in a dark place. So like I think with the creative energy, there's also a darkness that comes on the other side.
Right.
I think this, like staying active, overcoming the fears, doing shit that makes you fear, is a way to keep us going.
And you have to. I mean, and look, like we said it, we're wired differently. I mean, any guy at FSW, any person that does a podcast, any person that plays a musical instrument or paints, anybody with any sort of artistic brain is wired differently. And there's nothing wrong with keep reinventing yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Podcasts, this, videos, whatever. You keep reinventing yourself because you got to try different things, but it's all in that same archetype of what you want to do.
Right.
I did that podcast for a few months with my boys, and I loved it. Like I had a great time. There's nothing better than just basically sitting in a chair and bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Like we're doing right now.
Yeah. And people don't understand that. I think that I used to get the reaction of like, "How's that working out for you? Like, what where's the?"
Oh, I still get that.
Yeah. I think we'll always get that until something pops off. Then it's like, "Oh yeah, no, you're doing great." But you got to understand, you just got to keep moving, and like from this, you get more ideas, and it's like, "Oh, let me try this. This worked. This didn't." Like it's just a process. Some people are creators. And some people are regurgitators that just see what other people do and do the same thing. And then some people are spectators. And I think that we're creators, number one. And it's hard.
But I don't mind being a spectator.
Yeah, but I'm saying on a large scale. You couldn't sit back and just be a spectator.
Oh, hell
no. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I'll definitely watch, but I'll appreciate what I'm watching and seeing what's going into it. I don't care if it's a cartoon. It's like they drew this shit, and I see them voicing it. Like there's so much that goes on behind that a lot of people don't see. But so hats off to you, man. I think that through it all, like just from everything, like I've been watching a lot of videos and stuff of yours, just getting ready for this. It's been quite the adventure for you. And I know that we always look for that pinnacle of that goal, like, when I get to this point, then it's going to be really good, or, this is how it's supposed to feel. But at the end of the day is death, and all we got is the journey. So the last question I want to ask you is, are you enjoying the journey?
Hell yes. Every day, from the ups and the downs and the bumps, every day. Like, little things, little things are make it worth it. But the journey's beautiful. Like I learned a long time ago that I don't give two shits what people think.
All right.
To a point.
Right.
To a point. You know, but no, the journey's beautiful, and I also have to say that everyone I'm on the journey with is beautiful. You know, and people who are letting me go on that journey without much negativity.
Right.
I think I've been blessed with a lot of the people in my life who, all right, if that's what you want to do, go ahead, make it happen.
Right.
You know,
Supportive.
my wonderful girlfriend right now, I told her a couple weeks ago that I want to buy some equipment and do some stuff, and she goes, "Yeah, okay, do it."
Yeah, that's
Are
beautiful.
you sure? She goes, "Yeah, do it. I think you need to do it." You know, she's very into me sort of taking control of my own stuff.
Yeah, that's where
You
it's
know,
at.
and then my kids, and and my close knit people that are in my group. You know, my friends who I've worked with for 20 years. You know, like we're all. It's been beautiful. And then the people I've met, like you, we've had some kick-ass conversations outside the arena.
Definitely.
You know, we're on that same brainwave, and a lot of the guys at FSW and Joe, like I've been blessed with and lucky to work with talented and creative people, and you want to work with those people. You want to work with people that are slightly better than you. That's what people don't get.
Right.
You don't always want to be one in the room. You want to be with someone that maybe is a little bit better than you, because that's going to bring you to that level. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying, "Damn, I'm better than this person." But if you're in a group and you're working with people and you're like, "Shit, I'm better than them," they don't need to be there.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this, because I admire your talent and skills. So yeah, that's beautiful. It's all about the journey. End of the day, you're not taking no money with you. All that's left is the moments and the memories. And I think you've made some extraordinary ones. I just want to say, from the outside looking in, since I met you, I was like, this guy's a phenomenal talent, great guy. Just like through the roof talented, man. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule over there, eating caviar and eating steak and fucking lobster.
Hold on.
Yeah, there it is.
You want some of that? Listen, man, when you messaged me and asked me, I remember being in the car and just was blown away. Because let me tell you something, and this is not for any ego purposes. Like, I've said this to millions of people.
Uh-huh.
I ain't shit. Like, I don't think I'm shit. You know, and for someone, you know, that you're doing this to take the time to be like, "Yes, I want you to be on it," like, and then that it's you, like, this is awesome, and I really appreciate it, and I love what you're doing, and I love everything that every evolution of the David since I've known him.
Right.
And there've been quite a few.
Yeah, every other month, man. Every other month. We're doing something different. But no, I was definitely looking forward to this because I hadn't heard your story, and there's so much that I want to talk about, and we'll talk more, you know. But I want to thank you for that. I was looking, this was like, I had a list. It was like, I'm going to do the show. I want to talk to Joe. Sally's number 2 on the list. So, and then, you know, there's a couple more, but you're definitely at the top, man. And do me a favor. We're going to keep this, I'm going to keep this under wrap. It'll probably drop next week, but I need the exclusive until then. So don't sign up for anything else until this.
I got you. It's all you.
All right. And then, so how can people stay in contact with you, follow you online, and see what you got going on?
Instagram, at the JP Raniola Show. So TheJPRaniola Show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same handle on TikTok.
Okay.
They could keep up with Sally on Instagram, Sally_VSM, and Sally on Facebook. Yeah, and you know, that's it. That's where you can find me. I just dropped. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, I saw it
on the Instagram. I just dropped some merch.
Okay, yeah, I was waiting for that. That was on my list here at the end. I said, I got to talk to him about getting some merch. And then I saw your post before we did this. I'm in, man. I'm ordering today. Actually, I got to look at it and then I'll order today. But I got designs ready for you. We got some stuff that we could do on the FSW side, whatever you want to do. I got a shirt store too. I don't know, we'll talk about that stuff, but yeah, definitely.
That's right, you do. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so we can make that, and we'll talk about that, like if that works out. But whatever needs to be done. I just did the I'm a Joe DeFalco guy t-shirts. So there's a lot of stuff we could do. But thank you. It's been a pleasure. I hope that you stay safe through these times, and then we'll be back soon at FSW. Yeah, I wish you nothing but the best, man.
Hey, man, this was a great time. I appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
Definitely. Thanks, brother.
You so happy, brown boy. I got me a dream.
Come on.